So in today's video, we're going to discuss overseeding or reseeding bare patches or patches where you had moss, or just patches where you've had to infill for holes. Like my instance, I have some moss holes that I had to infill and some mushrooms that I dug up, so I had to infill them. So the process is pretty simple. You remove the mushroom, done that. The moss, I killed off the moss and then I raked the moss up. It left a bit of a undulation, so I filled that in with soil. And then if you had some bare patches, you know, where dogs are going to the bathroom, or you just have some snow mold that was left over, but caused there to be some, you know, dead grass patches, you just want to rake up the thatch there, make sure that you've got down to the soil. You might need to fill in there, you might not. So the same tools are needed to do this process. It just doesn't really matter which problem you have, you just need to do the same thing. So let's get on with that and we'll see how it's turned out. This patch here is a good example. I put some soil down, so I just want to go over this very gently, like so. Then I want to get my seed. I'm just going to take my hand and just sprinkle the seed on like this. You know, a little bit of a heavier coverage than if you were overseeding, kind of something like that. You don't want too much, you don't want too little. Kind of go in like there. And it helps you get your hand really close for these edge bits, just like that. Then you want to take your tiller again, and you just want to gently just mix that in like that. Just all the way. And this will allow for some good seed soil contact, and we should have some really good germination here. And so you don't have to put a lot of force on with this, you just want to mix in a little bit. So let's take a look at what it looks like once it's mixed in to not having been mixed in. So on the left here we have the seed on top, and then I've tilled it, and then on the right I haven't tilled it. So that's what it should look like once you've tilled it. And this part here is ready to go. I'm just going to move on to this part here, and then I'm going to go around to all the other bare spots on the yard and do the edges, make sure we get some good germination around there. So I'm going to work my way around the yard, doing exactly what I've just done there, making sure to get some good even coverage and make sure I've tilled that seed in just a little bit. It doesn't have to be very deep. So once I've done that, I'm going to use some peat moss. I've got a few bags here. I don't have enough for the entire yard. Ideally, I'd like to top dress everything, but I don't have enough peat moss for that. So I'll do that. I'm going to apply some starter fertilizer to the entire lawn. I'm actually overseeding at the same time as this, so I'm just a small little patch here. So I will be putting starter fertilizer on everywhere and applying a pre-emergent weed control. So then we're going to turn the irrigation system on, get this seed moist, get the ground wet a little bit. We do have some rain in a couple of days time, so I shouldn't have to put the water on too many times when on that day or 2 days, but when it's not raining, I'm going to be putting the system on 2 or 3 times a day. It will depend on the temperatures, how dry the soil gets, but you want to keep the seed damp, or at least the top dressing damp, so you know the seed's damp, and the peat moss helps as a good indicator to see whether you're actually keeping the seed wet or not. So if that's dry, seed's dry. If that's wet, good chance that the seed is wet too. There we have it. That's how I overseed or reseed bare patches in my lawn and get some great results. That tiller is a great tool to have if you're going to the effort of overseeding and you've got bare patches on your lawn. I would recommend getting a tiller. That was $14.99 from Tractor Supply. It's not a lot of money on the grand scheme of things. If you're going over an overseed on your lawn, it could be quite costly once you get seed and peat moss and starter fertilizer. So just getting that $14 tiller will make your life a lot easier. You can do it with a rake. I'm not saying you can't do it with a rake, but the tiller makes things a lot better and a lot easier. So if you do like my content, please consider subscribing to the channel and check out one of my other videos. I'll put a couple up on the screen here, and if I don't see you on one of them, I'll catch you on the next one.